Our speaker, I first learned about her on LinkedIn, and I started hearing about this person and seeing what she posted and you know, sometimes you just know, you feel it, there's something special about a person. And I could see her success and going like this. When I found out about her and what she does, and I think you've read about it, how she turns basically bicycle tires and just makes high couture and high fashion out of that. And I'm not going to tell you more because she will do that. But it is a great pleasure to welcome by FRIDA EM, a rising star. Remember where you saw her first? I have a feeling we will see her clothes on Beyoncé and alikes, you know. So a very warm welcome to FRIDA.
Thank you. You can do better. I need it. Well, first of all, thank you so much for taking your time and come here tonight. I'm very honored. Thank you. So, my name is Frida Martinsson. I'm the founder of by FRIDA EM, and I work with sustainable development through physical design. My concept takes waste material from the nearby area and collaborates with the local entrepreneurs to create design that's made of the city for real, by its people and by its material. And this came to me, well, everything started 3.5 years ago. I was in a really low point in my life, and thing is, I had just lost my mom, and life had never been good to her. I felt like no one was ever nice to her, and now when she was gone, I felt like there was a woman who never got to live her life. And we lost our mom, you know. So I'd never hit that low point until then. I didn't do anything. I had no energy. I said no to everything. I just isolated myself until one evening on the 16th of February 2015. I have a bad memory, but I remember that day because my brother's sister asked me if I wanted to come and just, you know, play around and create stuff with old inner tubes from bikes. She said, come on. I was like, no. She's like, oh, come on, I'll pick you up. Like, okay. I did it. I went there and I saw this necklace with linked old inner tubes. They cut out 8s and linked them together. I was like, I'm going to make one of those. So I started making my links and started putting it together. And then I saw, you know, we're creative people. We see things. We're like, I kind of want to do that instead. And I started creating a body chain. You know, the ones that belly dancers wear? Those kinds of chains? I wanted to make one of those. I did it. But when I was done with it and I put it on, it was nothing like those tiny, cute things. This was powerful. I looked myself in the mirror and I came alive. For the first time in my life, I knew what I was going to do. I saw the future. I saw happiness. I saw a happy, successful, strong woman, and the whole concept just came to me. I could have just like, that won't work, and just kept on feeling sorry and just being sad and I don't know what. But I went for it. I was like, I'm going to do this. And I just like, okay. I went all in. I sold my apartment and I was like, okay, how do I build an app? How do I build a website? And how do I market myself? And how do I produce my product? How do I do things? Also, I started wearing my design. I started creating more body belts and bracelets and all kinds of things that I wanted to make. And I wore it after works at these networking places, events. And the funny thing is, I stood out. You go to a tech event and you walk in like this, they kind of notice you. I'll come back to that a little bit later about that thing that I got noticed. I learned a lot. I met people, my network started to grow because I'm telling you, I had no funds, no education within any field. I dropped out of high school or school like 2 times just to be sure that I didn't want to be there. So I had, not much going for me, like to create a business, and because I had nothing. I felt like I had nothing. But I let something else guide me. My gut, my heart, and my smile. I went wherever I wanted to, where I saw happiness, where I wanted to be. I put myself in a position where I was smiling and I felt I was growing. I also started doing very scary things, like this. My brand started growing. The brand awareness came to me. That's a word I didn't know before either. Because I was just doing my thing. I was just talking to people that I liked. I contacted them on Instagram, on Facebook. Well, actually, most Instagram. I love Instagram. I wrote to them. I said, hey, I really like what you're doing. If you like my design, I would love to create something for you. That worked. I got my designs in magazines. I got very fashionable people to wear my design, my work, and I started, finally I got to create big dresses that I had seen in that day when this whole idea came to me. Actually, I created my first dress because I was nominated at the Trade and Industry Gala in Malmö for sustainable development, which was amazing. I had just been doing this for 2 years, and I had the contests beside me that I was competing against with huge, millions and millions of money companies, and it was a true honor and more brand awareness through that. And right now I've had a big exhibition at the Trelleborg Museum throughout the whole summer. It's called Sustainable Couture, where everything, all the couture dresses, all the avant-garde is made of old inner tubes from bikes. The great thing with my design is that it doesn't look like garbage. And that's a big problem in the, when we're talking about sustainable design, sustainable fashion, I've seen, here's the thing, I've never had a fashion interest. I've never bought a fashion magazine in my life. And I've never created something like this before. I've always been creative, but I've never really done it. And so I'm a consumer, I'm the big crowd that they want to sell to. But they're losing me because I can't find any products out there. If I want something that's sustainable, I want it to look good as well. I don't want to have the beige over-designed t-shirt or shirt to wear. I want something to make me feel good about myself. And that's something that my design is bringing to sustainable fashion and design. My work is showing that there's another way to use the waste material. Well, here's the thing. We just want to have sexy, cool things to wear and feel good about ourselves. So we have to, us designers, entrepreneurs, we have to put it out there. We can't know everything, and I don't know everything, but I'm pretty good at what I'm doing by just following my gut and my heart and what keeps me smiling. That's my key, that's how I work. But I also know that I need people who know how to build an app, how to like really brand stuff, marketing, sell, keep the cash flow, because my business it's a no-brainer. I take garbage and turn it into amazing art and design that people want to wear, and it sells. Here's the thing, if we think it's hard, it's going to be hard. And I'm just thinking, if we can do it, we can do it, we can do it. And I've done so much with nothing. Still a lot, because it's got me this far. I'm just thinking, like, imagine when I have my team. Imagine what we can do. That keeps me going. There's a lot of people in the fashion industry that I've met that really want to help me out, and they really take their time to look at my things, give me feedback. I mean, listen to this. I contacted one of the biggest fashion photographers in the world on Instagram. I sent him a picture of a thing a body belt I was creating, and 2 days later I got a heart. He sent me a heart. This was I don't know if I'm going to name drop now, but he was very big fashion photographer. And you've all seen him, I think. Looked on TV. So there's one person who yeah, I like this. I would love to connect with you and do things, which also led me to another thing. As a small business, okay, he wanted some stuff from me. He wanted to take pictures of my design. And I said, yes, of course, I'll do it. But then I changed my mind, because what would happen if he put out, this was my first year of creating. If he had posted anything about my design, I wouldn't have the capability to handle that success. I wouldn't. I had no network at the time, because the network and everyone I know now who's actually, without knowing it, they're also building up by FRIDA EM with their knowledge, with their help. It's all going forward. Now it would be easier for me to say yes and go through with it. My design, first of all, it was an expression for me. I noticed that I felt good wearing it, creating it. So that would make it art for me. But it's also art that it's also a product. So I have 3 lines, right? And because here, like the first line, it's smaller accessories like the bracelets, the belts, smaller necklaces, things that are wearable on a daily basis. And these, here's the thing, because my product is a product that it's better that you buy it than if you don't buy it. It needs to have a price also, so it can go out to the consumer. So I put my prices from 500 crowns and then upwards. The second line I have is more avant-garde. This is more avant-garde. You wear it on a party, or you wear it as a stage wear. You want to be seen in it. That's another price level. Though you also have the body belts in that price level. Then you have the art, the haute couture. I've always known that I wanted to do something big. Ever since I was a child, I always wanted to do something. I always stood on stage. I was very outgoing and so on. And I never really knew what I wanted. Like, I wanted to do something. I just didn't know what it was. And this really, this was really a aha moment. I'm supposed to be in business because here's the thing. I grew up in a very negative environment. And there was a lot of bad things going around me. There's a whole nother mindset in the entrepreneurial world. People want to do things. They connect, they collaborate, they create things, and I was like, and yeah, I love that. And I was like, I finally found home. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be around building businesses and just because of the mindset, and that I can also create my own world. I can really physically move myself from one place to another and create a whole new, like a better way of living, and yeah, that I have an impact of my own life. I create my own life. Every time a woman puts on my design and she does this, she smiles and she loves herself, I cry. Because in that moment, I look at her and I think she's never going to take any bullshit from anyone. And I'm like, she's strong, she loves herself, and that's, I don't know how to say, but that's what keeps me going as well.